I like the way you set this up. It looks so nice. It looks fantastic.
Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 2 of Tea with Abby. What are we talking about today? Well, make sure you watch episode 1 because you're gonna be lost as heck, okay? While you're there, hit that subscribe button, please, pretty please. And join us at Trend Family on Instagram and TikTok because we keep it very interesting there. So basically, last episode, we talked all about pregnancy and my experiences. This was all my experiences, okay? It was a very interesting time, and it was a very sweet time, like I had explained in that episode. Now we're moving on to the real nitty-gritty part. This part is gonna be a little graphic, you know, so if you're queasy, you're probably not ready to deliver. Just saying. I love you. But I'm just gonna keep it very real, okay? So I made it to 37 weeks with my very high blood pressure. I was even like measuring my blood pressure and stuff at home. Like Beth had bought like a whole like measuring machine thingy. So he would measure me like every night just in case. There was this one Tuesday that I vividly remember. It was the one appointment that I had gone by myself without Beth because he had to work that day and couldn't get out of like prior commitments. And I was like, you know what? I got this. I go and my OB is like, you need to get your bum to the hospital right now. You might have to deliver. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this by myself. So I called my dad and he was like, yeah, you know what? Like call Viv, like you might have to, who knows? So I called Viv and he just rushed down there and it was a false alarm. My blood pressure ended up going down and they were just worried about the baby and if everything was okay. And yeah, and obviously it would affect me as well. So they were just like kind of being very careful. And I have to say the maternity ward that I had gone to was amazing and they were on top of everything. Oh, if you're pregnant or expecting, make sure you go check out the maternity ward that you're planning on, you know, delivering your baby. There were a couple that we had checked out before and we did not like at all, but you need to have good vibes. You know, this is not like going into Walmart and picking something out and leaving. This is not Costco. This is nothing like that, okay? This is a whole experience. You want to be positive. You want to be happy. You don't want any other distractions at the time. So through this whole pregnancy, and now when I look back, I laugh to myself because I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like I can't wait until I get this baby out. And obviously like, it must have been very uncomfortable, you know, being like big and everything and waddling around, even though it's super cute. I look at pregnant women all the time and I'm like, you're so cute. I was just like, oh my God, get this baby out of me. Like, let's go. I thought it was like, you know, get that baby out. Next day, back to working, whatever, being all motivated and stuff, you know, on this whole like, no, okay? That's not what it is. I get to 39 weeks, okay? And I thought, I'm like, okay, like, you know, I think I'm gonna have the baby earlier than that. No, okay, so we get to 39 weeks and it's best, obviously, if you let the baby grow inside before the baby comes into the real world, of course. And there was this one day, it was like summer, it was very hot and I was experiencing a really bad migraine and that's kind of a symptom of having really high blood pressure. And then my vision was kind of getting blurry and Viv was like, you know what, you just gotta go. And we called the hospital, the nurses there, and they were like, you know what, come in. And they ended up inducing me that day. And the nurse, or I think it was the doctor, I'm not too sure, but somebody did this scrape situation. The scrape, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but it's not fun, okay? It's not fun. It hurts. I will tell you the truth, it hurts. And that's supposed to induce like labor. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on whoever it is or depends on the time. So I was like, what the heck was that? And I remember going home and telling my friends and my mom, and I was just like, that was weird and it kills, okay? I don't know, it hurt me. And then my mom just looked at me and she was like, you know, labor is gonna be difficult, you know? And then I was just like, oh my gosh. Fast forward, it's the next day, it ends up working and I'm like dilated and all that good stuff. I lose my mucus plug and I'm going to the hospital, and they're still kind of waiting for my water to break. I think because my blood pressure was really high, they were like, okay, just admit her into the room and we're gonna figure this out. I was lying there and still my water hadn't been broken or anything. So I noticed she was bickering with her like colleagues, and I was kind of watching her behavior and stuff. I was like, oh God. But you know what? At the end of the day, like I just wanted a good, like a healthy baby. You know what I mean? That's all I really cared about. And she kind of came to me and was telling me like how it really was and how I should deliver this baby and how it would be easier as opposed to like my birth plan. I don't even know where that went, to be totally honest. I feel like somebody threw it out because I brought it. I don't know where it went. So I'm lying there and you know, my water's, it's still there. So I obviously didn't start like delivering or anything like that. Whatever. I was dilated and I see like a bunch of students walking in, like students. This was a teaching ward and this doctor was apparently a teacher. I remember like this one student coming up to her and saying, hey, like it's my first day, blah, blah, blah. And she was kind of like introducing herself to this doctor and she was like, oh, hi, like nice to meet you, whatever. I'm like wheeled into this other room where obviously I'm gonna be delivering. I get this nurse who's not the friendliest person either. I'm like, what? I like checked out this hospital. I thought it was great. What is happening here? But she was just like on her phone a lot. She wasn't like mean or anything, but she just like kind of like jabbed me with like a needle, and then like she was just on her phone a lot. And I was just like still lying there, and then this student comes and she ends up like being coached to break my water. I was like freaking out. Vith is freaking out, asking questions in the corner. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what is happening here? But same time, I was like, okay, like whatever. Apparently this doctor had so many years of experience, like she's not gonna let anything happen, right? Time passes, and then I start feeling contractions. And thank goodness, I feel like this was like a sign from like the heavens or something. The nurse's shifts change. Now, what's very important is your nurse or the nurses by your bedside, they play such a significant role. Like I did not know at all, but now, yo, kudos to nurses because they really hold it down, okay? They help moms out, they help the doctors out, they do it all. So there was a shift change and the nurse that was on her phone the whole time, like really didn't care about me or anyone else who was watching. But the new nurse that had come in, I was like, okay, this is a girl for me, because she was just on it. She was being so supportive. She really helped me. She coached me through like, you know, the contractions and dealing with it all. And she was just amazing. Like she kept on calling Zay her nephew. So it was so cute. So the nurse, who was angelic, she coached me through the whole thing. It was very, very painful, you guys. It was extremely painful. But I was kind of like numb. Like that's what I was feeling. I was very numb. I wasn't really thinking of anything else except for I need to get this baby out healthy and happy and all that good stuff. It was a very long delivery. I don't even remember how long it was, to be totally honest, but baby was out around like 3 a.m. Okay, so I went to the hospital at 2 p.m. the day before. So, a very long time. So yeah, when Zay came out, he was this tiny little thing. He was just like, he was cute in like an old man way, obviously. And I knew I was gonna have a small baby, but like when I had him in my arms, I was like, what? Like I have to keep this thing like protected. This is gonna be scary. So I remember he was like really purple when he came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? And it's funny because he looked up at, they put the baby on your chest, and then he looked up at me and he still gives me that look till this day. It's like the look that he gives me when he's like in trouble or something. This like googly eye look. That's what I call it. All our parents and our family and stuff, they're all in this delivery room. This is obviously way before the current situation that we're all experiencing. So everyone was at the hospital to see their grandson, their nephew, you know, this new little critter out into the world. I was learning how to like breastfeed, which I honestly thought, I was like, oh, okay, like, I don't know, like I'll learn how to do it. But it was the most painful situation to like grasp onto. Everything was just sore. When I remember moving into our room that we were in, and I just felt the numbness go away. And I was like, I feel like I got hit by a truck. That happened. And, but the nurse that I had, again, I was telling you, she was so supportive. And when her shift was over, I was like, please don't leave. Do you have to leave? And I got another really good nurse too, who kind of like prepared me for life with the baby. And she was, I remember like in the morning after, she was like, okay, like it's time for you to leave. I'm like, do I have to go? Like, can I just stay here or can I take you home with me? Like, I need help. So I remember feeling very like nervous, very nervous. This tiny little thing in this huge car seat. Now that I put him, all my newborn clothes were not fitting him yet. So it was so crazy. I was just like shook by it all. At the hospital, they took Zay's blood, they did his hearing test, and they said everything was fine. They did tell me like, oh, you know, there's this thing called SIDS, like be careful of it, don't put pillows near his head. That really got me scared too. So I was just like this nervous wreck. I know Vith was this nervous wreck. He was like, what is happening, whatever. We go home and there's a lot of people coming in through the house, and it was, now that I look back, it's not like they were all excited and all that, but like as a new mom, I really wanted time to just like figure it out on my own. Just, you know, breathe a little, like all that good stuff. So it was very like overwhelming at the time, but now that I look into it, I'm like, they were just excited, right? So a couple days into, you know, dealing with Zay and having no sleep, we were still struggling with the breastfeeding situation. Like it was kind of happening, it wasn't kind of happening. I didn't know if he was getting enough food, X, Y, Z, okay? All the new mom problems. And Vith gets this call. It's like 9 a.m. on, I think it was like a Wednesday or something, okay? So like, or maybe not. It was a day. It was a weekday, okay? And we get this call, and it's from a doctor at Sick Kids Hospital, which is in Toronto, but you know, by the name, you can tell it's for serious situations and kids who are sick. And he just started talking, okay? He started talking, and he was just like, you know what? You need to come to an appointment at Sick Kids Hospital tomorrow, Tuesday. You're gonna be here at 9 a.m. and you're gonna do some tests because your son might have a congenital disease. I was like, what? I didn't even understand. I couldn't even take in what he was saying at the time. And Vith was kind of stunned too. And meanwhile, Zay's over here crying his head off. And I was just like, oh my goodness, what? Are you sure? Like, what are you talking about? So he keeps going and he's like, yeah, your son might have a congenital disease or a congenital condition. You need to come into Sick Kids and do a bunch of tests. So I'll see you tomorrow. I was like, what do you mean by all of this? I don't understand, you know? I was already shook by germs and viruses already before any of this had happened. I've always been paranoid about germs and viruses, but as soon as I received Zay, I was like, okay, I need to be even more careful, okay? I was the woman Lysoling everything before this current situation. So I was like, oh my gosh, like how are we gonna do this? How? So I'm gonna end it at that for this episode. Stay tuned for episode 3 to find out what happened and how we dealt with this whole situation. Till then, peace out.